In today's video, we'll set our bullet journals up for a brand new year, and I cannot wait to show you my setup. Hey guys, this is Soumya from Art and Alchemy. Check out other videos on my channel and consider subscribing if you like my content. Now, without further ado, let's get planning. Here's the journal I'm going to use for 2023. This notebook is from Vinci Stationery and it's called the Saturn Journal. It's a beautiful black cloth-bound journal with silver electroplating detail. The dots are nice and light and the pages are of off-white color. These pages are 150 GSM thick, which I'm really excited about because I've never used a journal with such thick pages before. I'll leave the link to the journal in the description box below, so do check that out if you're interested. Now let's get started with the setup. I'm using only one brush pen for the entire setup and a couple of fine liners. I'm starting by writing my name on the first page. It's always the best feeling when you crack open a new journal and write your name inside. I'm adding a simple botanical illustration on the right and some hatches to emulate the look of a washi tape. On the left side, I'm gonna add a flip-out page for my key. This is larger than what I did last year because I'll be adding a pocket on the inside of it. But first, let's finish up the illustration. I placed a notebook underneath to keep it nice and leveled. Next, I'm adding the key on the inside of the flap. I used simple dot bullet for each task and its status, signifiers for important and urgent tasks, square for goals, circle for events, dash for notes. Now let's stick this in. Next, I used a craft paper and made a pocket for the inside. I'll stick this in as well. You'll see how I use this pocket later in this video. Before flipping to the next page, let's quickly make ourselves a grid spacing guide. I've never used this guide in my journal before, as flipping back and forth each time you divide the page sounded inconvenient. But then I came across this amazing video that showed how to set up this guide to work as a ruler. I'll leave the link to it in the description box. The fact that I can just bring it to any page and use it just like a ruler blew my mind away. This is my vertical spacing with markings on both sides. On the right, I made markings for the divisions, so I can use this for dividing the page into half, thirds, fourths, and sevenths. Then on the other side are the markings for spaces. For example, these are the markings for 5 dotted spaces. This I'm sure will come in very handy for my calendar grid. I'm going to do the exact same thing for the horizontal spacing, and I add the title on the top. I then rounded the corners using my corner punch. Lastly, I'm punching a hole on the top and adding a ribbon. In order to use it, all you have to do is just align the dots on the page and make the markings like you do with a ruler. As simple as that. Now I can just tuck that in my journal and use it whenever I need to. Alright, now let's move on to my 2023 cover page. I'm starting by writing 2023 in this bold serif font. I already have it sketched out in pencil, so I don't mess it up. I'm outlining the shape with a 0.3 fine liner and filling it in with hatches. 2023 is my 5th year into bullet journaling with about 1 complete year of bullet journal content on my channel. The 2022 bullet journal playlist is linked in the description box below, so check that out for sure. Meanwhile, I added 2023 in a delicate cursive font to complement the boldness of the digits. This year, my goal is to explore different fonts, spread layouts, Dutch doors, painting mediums, and more. On the left, I added a quote that says 12 new chapters, 365 new chances. Honestly, quotes that celebrate new beginnings and specifically only the beginnings of the new year don't motivate me enough anymore. The novelty of a brand new year is overrated in my opinion, and it fades away quicker than it comes. So I needed a quote that could remind me that every month and each day is a new opportunity and that it deserves the same attention and celebration that the beginning of the year does. Hopefully, this helps me maintain the same motivation throughout the year. Talking about the font, I've always felt intimidated to use a bold font in my journal because minimal and simple fonts are more my style. But I'm so glad I gave this font a try, and now this is my new favorite. As for the theme, I kept it very minimal and neutral toned with some circles and simple doodles. I basically let the font do all the talking this time. The next couple of spreads are for my index and future log. I'm writing the title in the same bold font on the left side. Then I added the months from January to June with 2 on each page. I know for sure that I'll end up using the entire journal in first 6 months, which is why you won't see me leave space for the months that follow. I decided to use Dutch doors for these spreads, which you'll see me add eventually, but for now I'm making the divisions for my future log. I added a common page for the events that fall in the later half of 2023. I wrote the title on the right, followed by the illustration. I'm now coming back to cut the sides of the page to incorporate Dutch doors. I never owned a bullet journal as thick as this before, so this is my first time ever trying out the Dutch door concept. I'm not sure if this is the right or efficient way to incorporate Dutch doors in a spread, but I decided to do it regardless as I found them really interesting to use. I then added some craft paper to these giant tabs to create some interest. The reason I cut these tabs out in first place is to conceal the title of the future log when you're using the index and vice versa. Next up, we have some space for 2022 review. On the left, I have space to write down my thoughts about it, while on the right, I'm going to make a list of all the highlights and accomplishments from the past year. It's crazy how 2022 passed so quickly, and we're now already heading into 2023, which also brings us to intentions and goals page for the upcoming year. I'm cutting yet another Dutch door for this spread. I wanted to be as intentional as I could with my planning this time around, so I needed a powerful word to fuel my intentions and energy throughout the year. So here goes the prompt, what's your why, with why being super bold. I wanted this to serve me as a constant reminder to remember my why. I learned this concept of focusing on why power rather than willpower from Pickup Limes, who's one of my favorite YouTubers. Feel free to write any word that's the most meaningful to you. On the right, I'm adding a space for my intentions for the new year. Moving on, we have our goals page. I've set too many unrealistic goals in the past and ended up hating myself for not getting any close to what I intended to do. I find it hard to set specific long-term goals, so my idea for setting goals this year is to focus on improving 3 major areas of my life, being personal growth, career, and health. So if you're finding it difficult to set goals, just remember to keep it simple and take the smallest possible step you can take right now. Here, I added sections for habits and routines that will help me get to my goals. In the next spread, we'll set up our quarterly goals. I left an entire page for each quarter, so I have enough space for planning and tracking my progress. I think this is a good time to show you guys what I intend to use the pocket on the front page for. Sometimes when I look back at the year that has passed, I really can't seem to measure my progress and celebrate my wins, whether big or small. So I made myself these review cards for daily, weekly, monthly, and quarterly reflections. Reflection is a very important aspect of bullet journaling. Each card contains a set of prompts that help me reflect and review each segment of the year. There are prompts for gratitude, to celebrate your small wins, help you track your progress, check in with yourself, and much more. And these sit perfectly in the pocket I added in the front. We're just a couple more quick spreads away from finishing this setup. This spread is for the books I read and my social media growth tracker. I'm creating 2 simple tables for these. As you can probably tell by now, I use my bullet journal extensively and my number 1 priority is functionality. I cannot incorporate a spread if it doesn't work for me. Moving on to the last spread, we have a page for important information like subscription details, login IDs, etc. and a things to learn page on the right. That brings us to the end of the video. Thank you to everyone who made it to the end and for giving this video your valuable time. You guys are incredible and your support means the world to me. Now here's the final flip through of all the spreads. I'm so in love with the simplicity of the spreads and the font is just chef's kiss. Let me know if you found the video helpful. Like and share the video with your friends and comment your favorite spread down below. Next up is January Plan With Me, so subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss that. Thanks so much for being here guys, I really appreciate it. I'll see you in my next video. Bye everyone.